not like the dreamer, doer, explorer type headlines that I see every once in a while. So speaking of being authentic, I I don't know if you know that I have a bit on my podcast where I do I watch people's posts on LinkedIn and I react to some of them because some of them are a lot. So I'm curious, what kind of engagement do you encourage people to have on LinkedIn whenever they're promoting their brand? Are there metrics? Is there types of involvement, types of groups, types of interactions that you encourage people to have and focus on whenever they're promoting their brand?
I think that the biggest thing is to be authentic to yourself. A lot of my clients don't post because they just don't feel like that's something they want to do. If you have something, if you like, the biggest thing is if you want your profile to be seen more, is you need to be posting and then you need to be commenting on other people's posts. So that's how you're going to start to see more engagement, more people following you, more people finding your profile. But I also have a ton of clients who populated their LinkedIn profile and they don't do anything with it, and they just recruiters reach out to them because they have a really good profile, and the recruiters will reach out and say like, "Hey, I noticed your profile. Are you open to any positions?" And so it really goes either way. It really depends on how active you want to be in your job search and how much time you have. Some of my clients are, unemployed, so they're like, "Yes, I want to engage on LinkedIn. I want to spend the time doing that, whatever I can do to get back to work." And other people, are working a 9 to 5, and they're, just looking for that next up level in their career. And so they're not spending time posting on LinkedIn or communicating with other people. But yes, I agree with you. Sometimes the posts can be a lot for sure.
Yeah, and if you watch them, then if you also then go on LinkedIn, you'll realize that half the time I'm getting caught by bait, and there's like I guess troll people that are trolling LinkedIn, which is I guess funny. I guess I get
Yeah.
caught all the time by there's a couple I've reacted to, and I was like, okay, that was totally bait, but it was perfect for my content. Uh,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So what is the bare minimum level of I guess preparedness of your LinkedIn profile, just like a update all the way through your skill section and all your courses and everything? Like what is the kind of the floor that you're like, if you're not doing this, then you're not utilizing LinkedIn at all?
So the first thing to figure out is, in the positions that you're looking to apply for, what are the keywords that show up in the job descriptions? So when you're looking at the like several job descriptions that would interest you, what are those keywords that keep showing up over and over and over? So like if you're a project manager, right, those would be project management, team leadership, organization, those types of things. And those are the keywords that you want to make sure are in your profile. So that means like in your bio section, in your experience section, you can copy and paste what you have in your resume into the experience section. Most people won't, I mean, aren't going to be reading your experience section. So those keywords can just work towards helping your profile be found more. And then in the skills section at the bottom, you can have up to 50 skills. So I recommend having all 50. It kind of works like an algorithm. So if my profile had project management in it 3 times and your profile had project management in it 10 times, yours will trend higher on a search than mine will.
No way. I didn't even know that was a thing. Wow. So you're saying that and then I get recommended to other people? Like where do I show up in their feed? Like where do I show up
No, so
based on
like
the algorithm?
so when recruiters use the search function, they're like, "I'm looking for a project manager." They'll type that in the search. Like they have a special like recruiter side of LinkedIn, but they'll type like project manager in the search function. And so then people whose profiles say project management in them or whatever will show up like more populated profiles. The ones that aren't populated, if you don't have a picture, if you don't have a banner photo, those kinds of things, they're not going to spend a lot of time on you because you're not the um, doesn't look like you're active on LinkedIn at all. So
So if I have a all my keywords and I have a nice little picture and they can tell pretty quickly what my experience is in like 5 seconds, and that probably
hmm
drastically improves my chance. So whatever they're going to see in that first second, 5 seconds, and I guess whatever gets them recommended to me recommended to them are probably the most important things.
Yeah, so your headline is definitely important. So right under your name is your headline. Um,
Uh-huh.
just laughing at
Sorry,
the look on your face.
I'm just dumbfounded because I didn't even know this was a thing.
Um, yeah, so right under your name is your headline, and that's like the first thing people are going to see about you. What I often see people do is they'll write like, I'm a project manager for such and such a company as their headline, but that really does you a disservice because it really brands you towards that company, makes someone feel like, oh, they're super committed to that company. What I recommend is having a headline of like, generally what you do, how you improve processes, because that's the first thing people are going to see is your headline. And when you comment on stuff, when you send messages, people will see the first 3 or 4 words of your headline always under your name. And so you want to make sure those first 3 to 4 words are really impactful.
Okay, but focused on your role and what you do. So not like the dreamer, doer, explorer type headlines that I see every once in a while. Like
I
actually
mean,
focused on your role.
if your goal is to encourage conversation, then yes, that could be beneficial. But yeah, I mean, if you're using your LinkedIn profile to further your career, then you should have a career focused headline.
Okay, so I do commercial contract management in the engineering consulting industry, and I also am focused on costs, financial forecasting, schedule. So, I mean, what would so my think my tagline is currently commercial management at Zachary Group. So that means that it's
Right.
very specific to my title. It does not even talk
Mm-hmm.
about the fact that I do cost forecasting or contracts. Really, I mean, maybe people in my industry can know that, but it's niche. I mean,
Yeah.
you might get me tagged for like commercial construction manager, which is not what I do, and it shows that I'm committed to my company, which
Yes.
I'm very committed to my company. But so if in the instance that I'm going to edit that out. That wasn't very good. But in the instant, dear boss, I'm very committed to my company. No, wait, he's a listener to the podcast. Shout out to you, Ray. Um, anyways, what would my tagline be?
Well, I think like just to quickly touch on what you're saying about your boss, if you like people who are changing their headline to not be reflective of their company, I don't think is a hit on their company at all because I
Yeah,
really believe that everyone needs to keep their options open. I mean, people are getting laid off left, right, and center, especially in the States.
yeah.
Like 3,000 layoffs at 3M like last month. Like it's crazy how much layoffs are happening. And so you
Mhm.
always need to keep your options open no matter
Yeah.
what. So Ray, he needs to keep his options open. But your headline should be I would put it something like, I mean, you're putting me on the spot, but like what I would think of is like driving cost efficiencies for engineering or whatever construction companies. And then
Yeah.
after that, like your job title doesn't have to be the first thing that you put
Yeah.
on your title. So if you're driving cost efficiencies or you're driving whatever, I don't know what it specifically is, but
Contract
then
performance.
that's the
Yeah, yeah.
first thing.
Yeah,
Right,
no, that
improving
makes
contract
sense.
performance. Yeah, and
Okay.
people can see that. That's what I do on a daily basis. I improve contract performance. And then they're like, oh, that's super cool. And they might click because they want to know more. What does that mean? How do you do that? And then they'll click on your profile and they'll want to read more about
I already want to know more. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. I just I'll be honest, I was just so shocked by what you were talking about with the algorithm of LinkedIn, which makes sense. I guess every social media platform has an algorithm, but um wow, that is cool. I mean, yeah, I did put you on the spot. Sorry about that. But
it.
that is something else. I'm gonna have to edit my way through that,
Thank you
but
so much for watching this segment of the Engineering Success Podcast. If you liked it, make sure to check out the other videos down below that are recommended to you. And if you really like the podcast, make sure to subscribe right down there in the middle. We really appreciate it. It's free to you and helps us a lot out. And last but not least, the best way to help the show grow is to comment down below. So leave your comment if you have any thoughts about this segment. Thanks.
I ain't chasing payments, still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.